Hello, welcome to United Reborn. I'm Matt, and what another massive match it was. A friendly match, yes, a massive friendly match for United, and what another great performance. Now, normally we would say that friendly matches are a waste of time or they don't hold any weight going into the season. However, this time is totally different for United because, in my opinion, this is exactly what we've needed to get the momentum going. But not only momentum, we didn't have any momentum in the first place from the last season. So this is now a perfect time for everyone to regroup, get together, and now we're actually starting to see, or I can start to see, an actual style of play and philosophy and what Amorim's trying to do. Now, first of all, he's got all of the team together. You can see that in training. I'm watching parts of training from MUTV, and you can see the lads are enjoying being together. There's a good relaxed atmosphere, but they are working hard, a lot of strength and conditioning. And you've got to say, they are looking fit in the matches. In the matches, Leeds United, it was a bit of a slow burner and everyone was like, oh, nothing's changed. But West Ham and the one we've just had, Bournemouth, everything has changed. This is not the same United. I don't care what anyone says. This is not the same United. The players are looking possessed. They're going out there, and the amount of energy in that heat, in that humidity as well. Well, I think it was humid because it started pouring down with rain like a monsoon. But in that environment, their energy levels are like they're possessed. Now the tempo has improved and increased. So in the build-up play, so this is normally in the midfield third, so the central area of the pitch, and going into the final third, the attacking third of the pitch, our build-up play is consisting of very fast 1, 2, 3 touch passes. Most of the time it's 1 and 2 pass combinations, which is quickly being made before we break the line into the attacking third. And that's another thing. We're now breaking the line with running with a ball, dribbling with a ball, and we're attempting more forward passes. Now, if you want to know what the difference is between dribbling and running with a ball, running with the ball is more like carrying, unopposed, whereas you're just gaining good yardage. Whereas dribbling is when you're actually beating players and trying to make progress. The dynamics have changed, tempo's higher, and the pressing out of possession, the pressing and holding what we did, holding Bournemouth back. They couldn't breathe. We were pushing and pressing as a unit, even into their own half, deep into their own half. You can see that there's been trained and coached triggers. Now we have some sort of idea of how to press, how to hold as a unit. And even in this short space of time, as a coach myself, you can see now Amorim is now comfortable with the time he's been given to work with the team at these little changes, which he probably couldn't put into play last season. Because not only that some of the personnel, some of the players weren't happy, and it was a rotten time to take over the team as well. It's really hard to come in and implement something in that season when everything is always already on the downslope. So this is a perfect start for Amorim in terms of for himself and his staff to get us organised and prepared. Now straight away I'll put my hand up, and from the last video I made about the defence, the compactness and getting caught on the counter, I think we did a lot better against Bournemouth. You can see that they did work on the shape a lot more out of possession. You could totally tell, and I put my hand up because I'm not Shaw's biggest fan in that left-sided defender or the back three position. However, what a game he had. Luke Shaw, hat off to you, sir. And if he wants to stay, or if we want to keep him and he can keep fit, if he's getting that kind of output, then performances, then fair play to you, because that is what we need. He looked rapid. He looked comfortable in that position because he's a fullback, right? And he was able to get forward as well. So with him, with Maguire and then Yoro, that looked really solid. More solid than the West Ham game with De Ligt. Now, this is probably because we was defending a lot better and the positioning was a lot better and there was more defensive support from the midfielders as well this time. And we looked a lot more organised. So you can't blame De Ligt and the West Ham starting defence, starting lineup. However, it did look more solid with Maguire, with Shaw. And Yoro, I love Yoro. I can see what he's trying to do. He lost possession, mostly through passes, quite a lot. He was trying a lot of forward passes trying to break the lines. A lot of the times he was successful. Some of the times he wasn't. And in the Premier League would have been, I know it's against Premier League team, but just in that Premier League environment, when 3 points really matters, he would have been punished with a lot more better opposition players around as well. But I like him because he's positive. Also, for me, he's just so composed on the ball, reminds me of Rio back in the days. And he's able to play long. He's able to, when he does successfully play short, he can carry the ball out. And he's always positive. If you look at some defenders, they'll get the ball. They're not very good with the ball at the feet, but Yoro gets it. His first touch is forward, which sets the momentum to then drive forward and start the attack. Same with Shaw. That's what Shaw does. So just going through the team, what we actually started with, Tom Heaton, good game. For me, look, people totally disagree, but we don't get a new goalkeeper. I would start with him. I'm sorry, what is he, 39 now? But I really would start with him. His kicking isn't the best. But Yoro, Maguire, Shaw I've already touched on. Now, Dalot is, for me, more defensive-minded than Ahmad in that right wing-back position, okay? And it added more balance, which I was happy about. However, when we've got Mbeumo starting and Cunha starting with Bruno, if we are going to want to fit Ahmad in, is it going to be one of them England scenarios where we want to fit the players in no matter who is better for the position? But Dalot looked better for defensive-minded. Ahmad was outstanding in that attacking right-sided position. Him and Dorgu are dangerous. When you play on FIFA or Pro Evolution Soccer, or back in the day, I don't know if it's still the same now, but and some of the players are really tall and some of the players are just small and nippy like Edgar Davids and everyone. Well, them two are just rapid and their ball control is so good. They're dangerous. When they've got the ball, they're positive, they're driving forward, they're breaking lines for committing defenders. These two are going to be massive this season. But what ended up working well was Ahmad and Mount in the more advanced positions, attacking midfielders. But again, this could change now. If Cunha and Mbeumo are going to be fit for the Everton match, it'd be good to see how we line up. But getting closer to the end of pre-season, I do believe we'll start seeing the starting lineup of what we're trying to make it look like for the Arsenal match. So Casemiro did all right, but I've got a feeling that we're probably going to be looking at Mainu in the middle. Mainu looked lively when he came in. He's so technically gifted. You just feel confident that he's not going to lose much possession, which is a good feeling to have. Are we going to have Bruno in next to him? No, for me, Bruno will be pushed up a little bit more. However, we've now got an abundance of riches in the attacking area, which people are going to have to battle for their starting number. Well, they've already got the numbers, a starting position. I think if Ugarte keeps pulling his finger out and putting in performances, he could be the deep lane midfielder if he can restrict his forward runs. But Casemiro is just an addition. And also, I just want to touch on Højlund. Now, Højlund, the stats from last season wasn't pretty. They're not pretty for anyone. I mean, out of all of the teams in the Premier League, he was one of the lowest for in duels. So a guy at 6'3" who looks like a big, strong lad, that isn't good reading on stats. But you can see now, and I've said this before, and I've supported him. I even mentioned to my brother in the cup final last season, I said, he is a striker. He looks like a striker. He hasn't got the confidence, and people say, but he's missing all these chances and whatnot. But you can see already, and even though Cunha didn't play and Mbeumo didn't play against Bournemouth, you can see that he's causing problems and he's feeding off this new dynamic. He's buzzing from this new energy given from all the other players. And I think Mbeumo, Cunha and Bruno are going to take the spotlight off him for him just to carry on with his job quietly, but make an effect. Now he is a handful for defenders. You can see he's putting himself around, he's chasing things down. And look, I'll put this to you, and I won't mind listening to your thoughts on this. How would you feel if we get top 4 this season? We get top 4. Højlund scores under 10 goals. However, he's played a majority of matches. Cunha's scored a few, and Mbeumo's scored a few. Bruno's got a few. We've got a few from other positions. Top 4, Champions League secured. Højlund played majority with the rest of the lads, and he didn't score that many goals. How would you feel? Would you say, oh, get him out, he's terrible? Or would you look at how he's worked as a tool with the other tools in the toolbox and looked at what we got as the result? For me, yes. If he plays a part and is known for just making all the other pieces around him work, why wouldn't we keep him? I support him. I hope he does stay, even if we do get Šeško. Now, if we do get Šeško, this is another thing I want to look at. Very happy with that. Everyone's saying, oh yeah, but he's only got 13, 14, 15 goals in the Bundesliga. Oh, what a waste of 70 million it will be. I agree to that point. And that's the same for players what are coming from different leagues. It is different whether or not they're good enough. It takes time to adapt. So it can be better to have Premier League proven players, for sure, which we've done already quite successfully in the transfer market. But if we do bring in another striker now, Xerxes gets fit, Højlund stays, and we add an additional one, whether it's Šeško, then it is going to be a very strong attacking outfit. No word of a lie. That is going to be effective. They're going to work off each other. They're going to be battling for that position. We're going to be able to get some rotation. That could possibly allow us to very, very, very quickly get back into a position where we was. It's not going to be easy. There's still going to be some defensive issues, like I mentioned in the last video, with the formation, with the 3 at the back. But it was a huge improvement against Bournemouth, that's for sure. We look more compact, we look more comfortable. It was really good to see. And just a special mention before I leave for the substitutes what came on. So we changed a lot of the players, all but 2 players, I believe, when the subs were made. Massive congratulations to Ethan Williams for his first match and his first goal. Amazing. But even when the subs came on, they also came on with energy like they were possessed. And what I liked, Mainu was class. You can see that he was meant to be in there. Now I've changed my opinion and won't mind him on the starting lineup. And they did look a handful. And what I did like was Diego Leon. Now, I know Leon tripped for the goal, which actually was kind of an assist for the goal in the end. However, he looks rapid and strong. What is he, 17, 18, maybe 19? I've gone through 3 ages there. But he's a strong lad. He's a strong bull. Reminds me of a little bit like Oxlade-Chamberlain when everyone's buzzing around him. He's powerful lad and he's quick. I think that's going to be a good addition. And you heard what Abraham said. If they're good enough, then they're old enough. And haven't we heard that somewhere else before? If you're on X, aka Twitter, or Twitter, aka X, give me a follow on Matt4W. Give me some help when all the other fans and supporters start to hammer me, because I want to hear what your opinions are. I want to hear what you're thinking of how this preseason's going already. It'd be good to get in touch with you, especially if you're in Asia. I live in Taiwan as well, so it'd be good if you're in this region also. We can meet up, watch some games on the TV, of course, have a few beers while we discuss. And comment down below, who's been your stand-up performer so far in these friendly matches? I really hope that we're still building on this progress as well. Keep the same tempo, keep the same dynamics, and remember, subscribe, give me a like. I want to get in touch with you. I want to hear your opinions, and we all want United to be reborn. See you on the sharp end.